Greetings, this is Polly. The British Prime Minister, Starmer, has resigned. He'll hang around for this summer, but then he'll be gone. In itself, it's not all that important because he'll be replaced by someone just as bad as him. But what is important is that the British commotion that they're causing, their civil unrest, is one of the reasons why, not the main reason why, Starmer had to go. The Labour government no doubt thinks, of the Uniparty that goes with it, no doubt thinks, now that Starmer's gone, things will get back to normal and the British people will be subservient as always. I'm not so sure. In the time they've tried these protests, they've always been crushed. Britain has a class system. It's not as sharp as it used to be, but it's still there. And it was always on top. They made sure it stayed on top. 10% at the top, 90% doing what they're told to do. Now, that 10% at the top told them, we're going to replace you. We're going to bring immigrants in there, and that will be the new Brits. Take it or leave it. For the first time, you expected some type of commotion to this. I'm sure they did too. But this is getting out of hand. It's also in Northern Ireland. It's in Scotland. It's in places in Europe as well. The native peoples, in this case the British, the English, are resisting their attempts by their betters to say, no, we're going to put new citizens in. Yeah, you're going to be here, but they're going to be here too. We need them to mix together, and we'll all be one happy group. Well, they're saying no. Sure they did. We in America can understand this. We ourselves, under the Biden administration, had 11 to 20 million immigrants come in there, unvetted. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they're bringing in. We're going to have all kinds of problems with this that we're going to have to deal with. But Britain, Northern Ireland, Scotland are smaller places, and you bring these people in here, it's going to get them together, and it's not going to work. Muslims they're bringing in, and this is what the main problem is. It's a totally different culture. You're bringing in a different culture, you're bringing in their problems. Democracy is something Islam does not understand. Islam is political as well as religious. The English bosses that brought these people in there never thought this thing out there. They just want a more passive group of people, and if they fight amongst themselves, they don't have to worry about that and fighting them. Well, this is good, the British resistance. But ideally, what would be nice is that reform gets together with other conservative groups and gets a coalition in there and is able to rule, stop all the immigration, get rid of all these Muslims there, and to be done peacefully. I don't think that's going to work. I think, hate to say it, that I'm all for it and go saying this, but they're probably going to have to bring in the gun. Violence. Revolution, the British people are not armed. Why our revolution worked in America is everyone had guns. So we know how to use them. And we would use them. The British people do not. The police do have them. The army has them. And right now we have to hope, although I think that's a false hope, that if the government decides to crack down on the British people, that the army and the police ultimately will say no. But I don't think so. Told to shoot them through a crowd, I think they would. I could be wrong on this. I hope I am. But in Russia, for instance, in 05, bunch of thousands of peasants working then went to the palace of the Tsar, and they were met with gunfire, and hundreds got killed. That's just an example of what happens when it goes wrong. When the government decides, shoot, and the police and the army shoots. Because right now, that's what they're hoping for. Yes, we might, to the British working class, to those that want freedom, to those that don't want policemen knocking on the door and saying we're arresting you because you had a bad tweet. You're just hoping that you can have enough votes to change the government. Maybe that will work. You're hoping as you start protesting, it gets bigger and bigger, and the authorities, the people that rule you, get a little more scared that they won't order the police and army to fire upon you. But I won't count on that either. And to be honest, if that happens, if you can't fight back, you lose. So I'm going to say something that no one else is saying. The British people, certain intellectuals in this revolutionary movement, have got to start thinking ahead. You're going to need an armed populace, ultimately, to beat an aristocratic class, a ruling class that doesn't want to give up power. Insist these immigrants are going to come and they're going to replace you. If you want to stop that, if you can't do it any legal method, then you have to use another method, and that's force. We in America did that, so don't go around pointing fingers. This is generally how it's done. I don't think the people that rule in Britain there are going to give up power easily. I think Starmer was sacrificed with losing support. There could have been some other guy in there. He's going to be just as bad. Now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being a little, negative here. Maybe they can bring change by the dollar box. Maybe the ruling class will ultimately shred the power. Okay, maybe, but let's not count on it. There has to be talk now on what happens when the powers that be throws force at you. Man, you can put a Facebook post out there questioning the authorities, and you get a couple police there, and we've seen videos of this on YouTube, knock on your door saying, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Never arrested people for that. For mean tweets. When you're doing that, don't say the government then won't stop pulling bolts at you, because they probably will. I just think that there has to be certain elements of the intellectual class in Britain that want change have got to start using a little foresight here. You got to start thinking about arming the people. But not that stage yet, but you got to start thinking about it. You're talking about a people that do not have guns, have never used guns. So that's going to be very, very difficult. That's amazing. In America, we're the only people that are armed. Every other country in the world, its citizens are unarmed and susceptible to force by the military or the police. Our America is that different. The British people got to start thinking about what next. If the government, if the powers that be are going to force this immigration upon us, we during our country, how can we stop it? And ultimately, it probably be force. So you're going to have to start thinking about how you're going to get guns. I mean, is there any other way to do it? I know no one's talking about this. I'm probably the first to bring it up. So, okay. I hope they win democratically. But if it doesn't happen, no, the Brits have never had that revolution. Maybe it's time they have it. Okay. This is Polly. Till I see you again. Just like and subscribe. Okay.